I describe my work as painting with glass. As a child, I loved drawing, loved it. I've always painted more as a stress relief as opposed to having it be my life. Then Frank and I were married. We took a trip over to Italy and I fell in love with mosaics. We just finished a wine tasting and the sun was shining. It was just a glorious fall afternoon. So we're walking down the street of Montepulciano and I looked up and maybe about 10 or 12 feet above the ground was this mosaic sign in front of a boutique hotel. And the sun hit the gold, hit my eye, and it was just like this light. And I thought, oh my gosh, I've got to do something with this. I've got to do something with this. When I illustrate on the diagonal. So then what I started to do was to take sheets of glass, cut long, thin strips, set them on the diagonal that then would emulate my illustration style. And that, I mean, it just all clicked at that point. The glass I use is handmade glass. It's made in the Laurel Highlands of Pennsylvania at a glass studio called Yakagani. To give you an idea, each piece of glass is an original piece of art in itself. Look at this purple, this deep purple with the white striations. Once I've got the illustration finished, I'll choose the glass that I want to use for the glass painting, and then the cutting glass process begins. So glass has been cut. I now have my palette, and as I build piece upon piece, you'll see this petal start coming to life. Although mosaic's at the basis of it, it's still a true, unique art form for me. The technique and the style, no one else is doing it. I butt joint the pieces because to me, grout stops your eye. You may not realize it, but it's almost like a period at the end of a sentence, and I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to paint with glass, and that flow comes from being able to butt joint the pieces so you don't have that visual separation from piece to piece. I can't forget that moment. I will not forget that moment. So what I do in each of my glass paintings, I incorporate a piece of the gold smalty. And smalty is the glass that's used in the classical setting of mosaics. And as you can see here, this is gold on one side, and then they've got it on top of blue to give it more depth as they create it. So I always incorporate a tiny, tiny piece of this in my glass painting. And it's to remind me of that inspiration, to remind me how quickly our lives can change for the better in a second if we just follow that inspiration. So each glass painting will have one of these pieces of smalty in it, and I place it, for instance, in this flower. I think about, okay, if the sun were to kiss this flower, where would it be? And that's where I place the smalty. I'm often asked who inspires me as an artist. And when I think of the masters, for instance, I think of Renoir. I mean, it goes back years ago when I was studying at CCAD. I fell in love with Renoir and his paintings. I mean, I could stand in front of them just totally immersed and mesmerized by the beauty. But then when I learned his philosophy, that's when I really fell in love with his work. He was painting in a very dark time too. And his philosophy was, there's enough darkness in the world. I don't want to bring more. So his word was pretty. He says, I want to paint pretty things. I want to bring pretty into the world. And that's how I feel. I feel that as a person, I was created to create work that brings light, that brings hope, to bring a sense of healing. And I believe in the connection between art and healing. So it's my ambition to bring into the healthcare industry more information about art and healing and the importance of that connection. 2 years ago, when our state, Ohio, started closing down because of the pandemic, I was haunted by the thought of the healthcare workers going into the hospitals willingly to care for people. They're holding the hands of our loved ones. Who's caring for them? You know, who's saying thank you? Who's saying we appreciate you? So I was moved to do something. That's when I came up with the concept for a garden of gratitude. So what I did was I identified 18 different characteristics that I saw in the healthcare workers, everything from courage to resilience, inner beauty, compassion. And I then did research and found flowers that symbolize each of these characteristics. So a Garden of Gratitude is an exhibition of glass paintings that will be touring Ohio hospitals and the University of Kentucky to thank our, what I call, wounded healers. When I see my work resonate with somebody, I'm moved and I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.